And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free.
Here we are. Let's go. FT Live Frazier Friday. Not in studio Todd Father, but close by, just down the road.
Down the street.
Yeah. We are happy to be reporting live from the home of the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. High A for the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to be at the game later. Todd Father is going to get all warmed up and throw out first pitch. It's a great spot, though, so we appreciate them for hosting us today. We got boardwalk games in center field, which I'm sure Kratz is going to play and probably go up against like a 12-year-old and be like, God, yeah.
That's him. Sorry. That's him. 100%.
Sorry.
Beat it.
Sorry. If more people want to meet me out there and play games against me that are adults, it's fine. But if it's only 12-year-olds, I like winning.
Hey, just so you know, my first job was on the boardwalk. I don't lose. So don't meet me out there.
I know what your last job is going to be if you keep looking at me like that during the whole show.
Okay, Swan.
They're going to be like, excuse me, sir, you've been up here for an hour. There are a bunch of kids waiting. One more.
I'm gonna need a whole cart to get the stuffed animals out.
Is mine. Don't touch these balls.
Yep. We got mini golf down the right field line, which is pretty cool.
Right down there.
Yeah, within the ballpark. So we're excited about it. And also we'll talk to a number of guests that are here already, like Adam Lind, former Erik Kratz teammate, I'm sure.
Oh, teammate, roommate, and then teammate at the end of his career. He's a guy. Silver Slugger, like
yes,
a legit player.
I saw him real quick before the show started. I was like, oh, crap. I had not recognized
Seen him
Adam
for
Lind.
a bit.
Yeah.
And he actually cut his ponytail off, but we might get to it.
Yeah, he looks like a different man. Justin Crawford, big prospect in the Philly system. So anyway, we're excited about it, but let's get right to our top story with our top guest, top of the show. Tim Healey's going to join us right now as we go over the New York Mets. You can follow Tim at Tim B. Healey. Tim, great to have you back on. Obviously, I expect that you were not surprised to get the invitation to join the show today. Would that be fair to say?
Well, I appreciate Mark reaching out to me again because I haven't been able to help out the last couple of times just because of logistics, but happy to make this happen. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Thank you, and follow all of Tim's work on Newsday as well. You can check it out. Go to his Twitter page, post all of his articles on there. So, where do we begin? Let's start with the media perspective of what happened a couple days ago with Jorge Lopez. Can you give your view of how the clubhouse works and if everything was done properly? Because then after the fact, you see some people trying to dunk on the media for not doing their job. So, I mean, do you want to represent everyone and the response of how this works when you're talking to a player and trying to get the information right?
So I'd be happy to try. I can't promise I represent everybody, of course, but I was actually off that day, and I got my money's worth on my day off. Let's put it that way, because it was a heck of a day. But when I was catching up afterward and understood how it evolved, it was interesting, right? So it's a chaotic game. It's another bad loss in a series of bad losses, and Lopez becomes the epicenter of it. And naturally, of course, reporters are going to go talk to Lopez about his ejection, the glove toss. And the big issue seemed to be that reporters were having trouble understanding what Lopez was saying, and Lopez was having trouble understanding what reporters were asking. And so I came to believe that the situation would have benefited. The Mets and Lopez would have benefited had Lopez used an interpreter. Now, in his couple of months with the Mets, and as I understand it, in years past, Lopez had done interviews in English, which has mostly worked out fine. In this situation, which is more emotional, more tense for Lopez, and doesn't have to do exactly with balls and strikes and blown leads and home runs and things like that, an interpreter would have benefited. The Mets, as I understand it, did offer the services of their interpreter to Lopez, and he declined, sticking with his routine of doing it in English. But then when he said that he feels like the worst teammate in the majors, or as some heard it, was on the worst team in the majors, listening to the video, I can hear it both ways. I believe he did say worst teammate. He was being hard on himself because he had a bad outing and then acted out emotionally in a negative way. So I understand the mistakes that were made in the misquoting. If I was there, I could totally imagine myself initially making the same mistake. But, that's why I think it was important that in situations like that to use an interpreter, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. That's why the interpreter is there.
Do you remember you and I? We had our disagreements when I was with the Mets. We did, but we were at the end of the day we respected each other. You had your job, I had mine.
Of course.
Let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything, but do you live for shit like this, like to see this kind of stuff? Because it seems like anytime the Mets have a problem, and you're not there, so I could see you at home like, God Almighty, what am I doing taking this day off? Right?
I went to the movies that night.
Yeah.
I went to the movies that night, and let me say, I can strongly recommend Kingdom for the Planet of the Apes. It's a great time. I love covering fun stories or big stories, and the Mets that day became probably the biggest story in baseball, just for the day. It's not something that lasts more than a few hours or 24 hours. And I love covering it when the Mets are the biggest story in a good way, like they were all the time in 2022. So I like being the person who can tell fans what's going on. I like telling my Newsday readers what's up with the Mets. So I had a little bit of FOMO that day because it sounded like a bizarre time. And as a reporter, good and bad, bizarre sometimes is interesting. The way I put it is, and this was true in Todd's years as well, that with the Mets, people say, what's it like covering the Mets? And my go-to answer is they always keep it interesting. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's on the field. Sometimes it's off. But one way or another, for better or for worse, they're going to keep it interesting. And that was true that day for sure.
All right, Tim. So tell your readers, tell the people who are listening, power rankings. Who's a power ranking handled this the worst? Jorge, the Mets PR, or the reporters in how they fleshed out information in kind of what you said, kind of a confusing situation.
Sure. Well, at the top of the list is Jorge Lopez, who is a grown man and has been in pro ball since 2011 and made a series of mistakes from mouthing off to the umpire all the way through his interview. So he's at the top of the list. After that, if the options are Mets/Mets PR and reporters, it's sort of a cop-out, but I put those two together. Mets PR, I think, could have been more aggressive in suggesting to Lopez to take the interpreter, especially because in that moment, as the 3-4 minute interview was going on, there were PR people standing there, the interpreter was standing there, and it looked clear to me, again, having only watched the video, that Lopez did not understand, for example, the follow-up clarifying question from Steve Gelbs saying, did you say team? Did you say teammate? You can see it on Lopez's face and you can hear it in his answer. He did not know what was being asked. So I think some help from the PR staff there would have behooved everybody. That said, with reporters and just the nature of things these days, we're eager to quickly tweet out the big quote, and that's what happened in that moment. It's interesting talking to the reporters who were on site that the interview happened. They heard the words live. They went back upstairs to the press box, and nobody really thought anything of it until listening back to the audio several times. And, that's when they started to hear, oh, maybe he said worst teammate and not worst team. So I understand the breakdown. I understand the breakdown on both sides in the moment because it happens bang, bang, bang. And you can't always process it to the degree that you should as it's happening. But I think both sides definitely could have handled it better.
So in Spanish, teammate is actually compañeros de equipo, and team is just equipo. So it's
Sure.
very close. Like you're talking about saying teammate or teams.
Yeah.
And so to me, like, yes, I believe that blame, because I'm a player, I'm going to side with the player unless it's egregious, and his actions were egregious. But as a reporter, how do you sit when you've written something? Now, I'm not saying you wrote anything in this situation, you weren't at the park, but when you hear that a player that acts like that, that's kind of out of character, him acting like that, and you hear there's stuff going on off the field, do you have not remorse, but do you feel like what's your feeling as a reporter when you're trying to get the readers out?
Well, you want to tell them what's going on and paint as full a picture as possible, which, as far as Lopez's life stress, his ill son who has spent some time around the Mets this year, I don't think we necessarily knew the extent of that or what role that played in. Lopez's agent, Edwin Rodriguez of Wasserman, was filling me in a little bit yesterday on what's going on with Michael Lopez, Jorge's son, and how he's been, severely faced severe issues medically, since he was born a decade ago. And so that, I'm sure, takes a tremendous toll on Jorge through the years. Even if it, as I understand it right now, is not necessarily a high point or any more stressful than it just is always. But when you have a guy who's going through it emotionally, which Lopez clearly was that day, as he showed on the field, as he showed in his interview, you want to make sure you get everything right. So if I had written something and if I had quoted him as saying he's on the worst team, and then later came to realize that he had said teammate, I would have felt nauseous, to be honest. But it's like I said, it's a tough situation. And to your point about those phrases in Spanish, it is similar. But if he was speaking in his native language, which would have been totally reasonable of him to do, I think it's much easier to distinguish between the teammate phrase and the team phrase in the Spanish versions than trying to, parse the maybe one extra syllable, teammate, team in his English. So it's honestly it was a bunch of things that collided to make an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and in a sport where we need more transparency, it would be helpful, and it's more entertaining, and it just helps fans connect. He was right. Maybe they're not the worst team in baseball. We've covered a couple others on this show that are a little bit worse in my mind, but they're pretty damn bad right now. So let's get bigger picture here. So First off, they cut a reliever with a sub-4 ERA on a team that ranks around 20th in ERA and also in WAR on Fangraphs for a pitching staff at a pitcher's ballpark, essentially, or at least neutral at best if you want to go down that route. They made some moves today, too, sending down Brett Beatty, who's had struggles at the plate, Christian Scott, who's been one of the brighter spots for them. So are they doing the right things as an organization right now? Like, should they have cut him? What about these moves today? And really, what's next for this team? Because JD Martinez also said, yeah, everyone thinks we're the worst team in baseball anyway right now, so there's no pressure on us.
Sure. Yeah, they did make a big batch of moves today. And as far as cutting Lopez, performance-wise, they need him. Attitude and vibes-wise, I totally understand why they gave him the punishment that they did. But you're right, it does impact the bullpen. They have no Edwin Diaz right now. Brooks Raley's done for the year. Adam Ottavino has had a rough stretch. They don't have much of a back end. So Lopez was a useful reliever in that sense. He had led the team with 28 relief appearances. So that is a loss for the bullpen. As far as the moves today, I give credit to David Stearns and company, this new regime that we're still very much learning how they operate, for making these sorts of moves because they know the season is on the brink. They know they need to turn things around in a big way very quickly, or else they're going to be for sure trade deadline sellers. As far as third base, they needed to decide soon, Mark Vientos or Brett Beatty, who's going to get some run right now based on merit, which seems to be how these Mets decision makers operate. Mark Vientos deserves a shot. He's had a good couple of weeks. Brett Beatty's had a rough couple of months, so you may as well see what happens. As far as Christian Scott, you're right. He doesn't deserve to go down to the minors. But between them needing to manage his innings total for the season and a bunch of off days coming up before and after their London trip next weekend, they do not need a 6-man rotation right now. So it was just a natural fit. I'm very confident he'll be back probably before the end of June and probably will be back in the Mets rotation for, I would say, years to come. So it stinks for Christian Scott right now, but it's easy to see the logic behind it. And then they DFA'd Omar Narvaez, which is a little ballsy because he makes a lot of money, and you don't always see teams willing to cut guys making money like that. But it's, his level of play was just not great. He was looking like the odd man out when Francisco Alvarez returns in the next week or two, probably closer to 1. So that they made this move now is, an interesting, as I wrote on Twitter, it's an interesting data point as we continue to learn how David Stearns works, that, hey, Narvaez wasn't getting the job done. Let's take a look at Luis Torrens from the Yankees.
And Narvaez wasn't signed by Stearns either, so that could spell the end for some other guys if things keep going this direction. When does Pete Alonso become a daily trade talk? What's the day when we hit June, middle of June, that it's going to be is there a record? Is it a day? Could this be the first move made? Because rarely do we have a power hitting first baseman that goes on the trade block.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because the daily drumbeat of the rumors and the chatter and stuff like that doesn't do a whole lot for me, to be honest, as a reporter, because until there's something new there, until there's something substantial, it's just sort of the same stuff chewed on over and over by, talk radio and some of the, more active Twitter fans, things like that. So I think even now, everybody's wondering what's going to happen. And if and when the Mets do decide to go the seller route in the lead up to the deadline, Pete Alonso is their biggest name, maybe their most valuable piece. Luis Severino is actually really interesting along those lines, to be honest. But, nobody's going to be as big a name as Pete Alonso. What's going to be interesting for the Mets, and as they decide how to make that decision, is trading Pete Alonso at the deadline is not as simple as trading some other random player with no real attachment to the franchise. This guy is a homegrown slugger, fan favorite, a face of the team. I would say the face of the team. And so what you have to balance what you're going to get prospect-wise with the optics and perception of what dealing him would do and how it would impact your chances to bring him back if that's something you want to do in the offseason. We see it all the time with guys. The first time they change organizations, it's big and it's stressful and you don't really know what to expect for that. That individual doesn't know what to expect. And then it happens once and the world didn't end. And they see what life is like somewhere else and they learn, oh, maybe that wasn't that bad. So you see it. Actually, the name that first comes to mind is John Lester. Spent his whole career with the Red Sox. Didn't want to leave the Red Sox. Got traded to the A's, and then he hit free agency and thought, I'm okay without the Red Sox. So it's a risk. It's a risky run in trading a player like that, and it's something the Mets are going to have to factor in making their Alonso decision.
Spot on, same page. That's what I think about is Lester. So we'll see. Hey, the good news is, like you said, your job is entertaining every day. So you can appreciate that. You're on a team that keeps things going. It's not like you're just showing up to the park and everyone's well-behaved and nothing's happening. And it's not your average mediocre team. So, Tim, we
That's
love the
true.
coverage. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Appreciate the insight there. It was important. Our fans wanted to get more of the journalism perspective, what's going on in the clubhouse, and then get big picture on the Mets. But thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you guys very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Tim Healey, go check out his work. We'll post some of these clips, of course. You can follow him at Tim B. Healey and check out all his work in Newsday. Okay, before we move on, you weren't on with us yesterday. I've been smashing them about this. It's a reliever who was pitching pretty well.
Yep.
Could be trade bait at some point. Now you're getting nothing for him. Sending a message. You know, they're really pushing that narrative, sending a message for throwing a glove for a really nice dude who's going through it a little bit off the field and still performing for you. And you suck as a team right now. Like, do you feel like this was the right move? You were in that clubhouse not long ago.
I was curious what Eric said, but I'm going to go with what I feel.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't
Maybe listen to the show when you're not on one time.
I don't think it was a good move at all, Scott. I agree with you 100%. It's not like he's a bad player. I mean, he's been doing okay. The guy can play. I think he's very good. He made a mistake throwing the glove into the crowd. People get thrown out of games all the time. Like, are you going to hurt somebody for getting thrown out of a game? Like, so a glove's a glove. We'll get a new one. I just think that it was a huge step for them. Like, oh, let's make a big scene out of something that's really not that big. Trade bait. You talk about it all the time. So could have been useful for another team when they're struggling, and I don't think that was a good decision at all.
He can still be traded because he got DFA'd.
Right.
There's a period there where teams you don't think they'll trade him?
I mean, I think they have to now.
Well, yeah, no, he's either he gets traded.
There's a
claimed,
period.
yes,
There's a
that's
period.
the DFA
AAA,
process.
right?
No.
My point though is right
his
now
contract.
you're not getting what you would get a month from now when every team is looking for bullpen depth, and he could have a low 3 ERA by then, right?
But is this setting a precedent? Because I'm all about setting precedents. Because from front office issues, from ownership issues before, Steve Cohen's trying to set a new regime here, just like Stearns is trying to set a new regime. So I'm all about setting precedent. But are you willing to make this the line? Because people are going to do much worse than this, and that's my issue with it. Because I'm 100% in Stearns' camp. Like, I love what he does, how he treats people. He would look into this, with his son, all that stuff. But is this where you're drawing the line would be my question.
If they're up 6 games in first place, is he off the team?
Hell no.
Okay.
And this is false organizational hustle. Why? Because if you're a superstar player and you did this, you're not getting cut, obviously, right?
Pete Alonso did it. He's not
No
getting cut.
freaking chance. Half the dudes on the team.
That's what I'm saying. If
this isn't that bad.
If they were winning, this would be neither be like, he had a bad day. Let's move on.
But it's not false hustle. Everybody's treated fairly. Not everybody's treated equally. You're going to treat your superstars completely different. Todd can show up late for something. I can't show up late for something because I am not at Todd's level. And like people are like, oh, well, everybody's got to be treated equally.
Not anymore. No.
Yeah, but they acted like it crossed their line as an org. They didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody
They
has
didn't
a
say,
different
hey,
line.
we're going to treat everyone differently, but this is not good for the mid-range relievers. I just think it's false
My
hustle.
minor league coordinator, Freddie Benavides, he told us every meeting he had in spring training before I got to the big leagues, some guy's going to screw up. And guess what? That first rounder, he's going to get a second chance. He told the guys this. He said, that 15th, 20th rounder we'll think about. And if you're anything past there, you go on. So at least and said, at least they were like, hey, listen, this is the law. Pretty much. You screw up, we'll give you another chance. Oh, yeah, we just paid you $800,000. We're going to give you another chance because you punched a guy out at a bar.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
I could give you countless stories like that.
Exactly.
Guys that got in the exact same fight in a bar in Clearwater.
Yes.
One went on to have his big league career. The other two got fired that day when they walked into the park the next day. And the one dude broke his hand. We got a whole email. We got a whole email to the entire organization, minor league organization, about drinking and driving. You get caught drinking and driving, going to the Blue Jays, going to the big leagues, you can't get into the country.
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 incidences in the next 2 weeks. 2 of them were first higher picks, second-round picks, but like the supplemental round picks.
Money.
What happened?
Nothing. And that was both of their second offenses. My buddy, 28th rounder, out of Jersey, I won't say his name,
Go
got pulled into the office.
Jersey.
The next day, after he got out of the slammer, got pulled into the office, berated, and then he got put on this like boot camp running program where he had to like run on the treadmill, and he was running every morning. He was doing all this stuff, and then they said afterwards, they go, "Pretty sure we're still going to release you." Like they held it over him. 5 days after it happened, didn't end up releasing him, but like it was like you just sent an entire memo to everybody, and now you're not willing to take that same stance. That's where I look at it and say, how are you going to take this stance as the Mets for the next thing that happens?
Exactly, and it will. That's what,
It will.
That's the Mets thing.
It has happened. There was a fight a couple years ago with Lindor and
No, I'm talking
McNeil.
about now, though.
I know,
now.
going forward, and I'm not just
Going
saying that, but dude, stuff happens all the time. I just think this was a bad line to draw. It's like, oh, this is our line. This, you throw a glove.
But there could have been something in the background that we don't
Sure, you're right. There could have.
that we don't know.
Honestly, yeah, there could have.
Stop touching me,
But I
bro.
doubt it.
Oh.
Anyway, we're going to have more in-person FT action next week. Just want to let everyone know. So we're here today, and we'll be at the game. If you want to check out Todd Father throwing out a first pitch to Kratz, I'm sure they're going to do something
I
unconventional.
think I'm going to bring a reliever in before I throw.
You should.
Scott,
Can you throw your
Scott
glove
Braun.
after? I'm going to take your glove and chuck it and see if they'll kick me out. June 6 and 7, we're at Vegas, Mandalay Bay. Actually, I think, are we at Mandalay Bay or with the Aria? We're at Mandalay Bay? Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
We're playing a poker tournament, but we're also doing the show. It's Kipnis, it's Kratz, it's me, maybe some other special guests too. So
Not Todd.
we'll still be on 1 to 3
Tootsie.
Eastern. Todd's going to send us good luck texts
Let's go, man.
Yeah,
to
send
try
him-
and
I'll be
bring home the
coaching,
pot.
coaching.
6-figure pot
Need you
in the
in
tournament when we play after.
6-figure.
Hey,
6-figure pot.
I
We're
might
going-
just show
let's
up
charge
one
them
day.
out.
I'm only playing
Charge them
7-figure
now,
hands.
Same division. Are the Braves okay? We actually haven't talked
No.
about them in a while, and there is a show called Hammer Territory, which you can catch, which is fantastic. Part of the FT network. They put shows up almost every day. They've lost 17 of 30 games. This is David O'Brien's stat. He said scored 2 or fewer runs 12 times in that stretch, 3 or fewer runs 17 times in that stretch. The strikeout rate is now 9th highest in baseball. It was one of the best, one of the lowest in baseball last year. I will say, by the way, Acuna last year like never struck out, and we hadn't seen that in his career. So that alone is a change. But Olsen had a slow start. Riley's been hurt. Are we worried about the Braves, or do you take Travis d'Arnaud's statement in the past 24 hours? Cool, we'll get the cold stuff out of the way this time right now, because last year we were cold in September, and that spilled into October.
I love Trav. I love him to death. He's one of my all-time favorite guys, but I don't agree with what he's saying here. My biggest stat per Hammer Terror, the Braves are 0-14 man when they allowed more than 2 runs. So that means pitchers aren't getting supports and their bullpen is not holding up. So there's a couple different things going on with the Braves now that, for me, are a lot of red flags. You know, Cunha gone. I think that's the biggest problem right now. So he was doing okay.
Yeah, not great.
Not great. Not because guess what? Our expectations are up here for him now, which fine, you can do that. You know, I would take his whatever he's been doing when I played any day of the week. I know you would too. But yeah, they lost one of their leaders, one of their go-to guys, and I think honestly, it's going to be tough sledding for them. You know, moving forward.
Just lost 3 out of 4 to the Nats.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is.
That's tough. But the game they won, who started?
Sale?
Max.
Oh, Max.
That's
Another
a plus.
masterpiece is what they call it.
Nice.
Now imagine if you had Strider mixed into that series, because in a 4-game series, rarely are you going to miss Strider. You can't miss Sale, Strider, and Max in a series. So to me, I think Strider's a bigger miss, because Acuna, what he did last year, he wasn't going to do again. Was he going to get hot? Absolutely. But this lineup is a juggernaut, and it's not going to change this drastically from year to year. So to me, if I'm in the East, if I'm in the National League, get your wins. This lineup is going to – you can't move everybody up in the lineup. I get it. They don't have Kevin Pillar, who added some things that Kelnick, I think, has taken over. I think they're going to start figuring out that platoon mix with Kelnick, unless Kelnick takes over. Kelnick is, to me, he's going to be the straw that stirs the drink right now. I think last year was Albies. I think he's going to be based on how many moves they need to make.
Yeah, but if he doesn't perform, they'll get 3 outfielders at the deadline because it doesn't cost much. I totally agree with you on Strider. If Strider, you don't find Strider at the trade deadline. And they don't have, and if there's 1 or 2 big names like a Luzardo that you could get at the trade deadline, the Braves aren't getting them because they don't have the prospect capital. But Tommy Pham's going to cost an A-ball lottery ticket. You know, it's much easier to acquire what they did a couple years ago, and I think they'll do the same thing. Soler, Duvall, Jock Peterson, and Eddie Rosario. Get 2 names like that because all those guys contributed to that championship team in 21. That's my point. Is I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about what their starting rotation looks like in the playoffs.
That's what
I want to see
agreed.
who lasts. No, their lineup. I mean, Riley's going to come around. Olsen's already starting to come around a little bit,
and they don't have what the Padres had, where the Padres were like last year, where it was like, why is this lineup not hitting? And then there's like dysfunction. These dudes are brothers. You have a Brave on, and they talk about the other guys. They don't even talk about themselves. They've all been extended. These aren't like, oh, we just mishmashed all these free agents and it's just not mixing this year. They all had career years last year. Now they're not this. They're going to hit. Olsen's going to have 30. Riley's going to have 30 in bad years. Like, you just don't get that kind of stuff.
No.
So
they're going to win 90 some odd games, get into the playoffs, and if they have this staff in place, that's what I'm saying. Is Sale healthy and good by the time we get there? Is Lopez still going and not running out of gas at that point? If those guys are going, they have just as much of a shot as any team in baseball to win it all, in my mind. I have no concerns.
Completely agree. And if it was the starting rotation that we were having issues with, then you'd be like, didn't expect this until like August where they'd get tired. But it's not the starting rotation. We're talking about them scoring runs. Just watch out. Month of June is here.
Yep.
And that's just it. I don't know how you felt. We'll ask Linda when he comes on. When the new month comes in and you were like struggling, you're like, oh boy, June, like, let's go. I'm gonna get hot. You just feel it.
Yeah, and they don't have a GM that chills at the deadline either. He always makes moves. So let's bring in your buddy right now.
Pick him up.
Hey, that's a good applause over there. Did you hear that?
Yeah, they were
People are cheering.
The ice was falling.
You can't say that.
It wasn't ice. It was our fans.
Yes.
The great Adam Lynn joining us on FT right now. I
Thank
apologize for having to spend so much time with Kratz throughout your career. I didn't realize how often you guys
Our legs
spend
get
time
to touch
together.
right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like it's
So
like
nice.
in the back of that Ford Focus.
Oh my goodness!
Arizona Fall.
Oh my goodness! It wasn't a Ford Focus, Lynn. You know that. That was a G6.
G6.
You have like 8 prospects in a car going to work.
How many do we have, Linda?
We had 8 minor league baseball players. I don't know if we were prospects, but we were.
8 minor leaguers in one car going
Half
to
and half.
ballpark?
No. It was 7 to start.
Okay.
Steven Andrade, he was like, I'm out. I'm not living with you guys. And there was a reason.
8 in the home.
Just wait. In the G6, in the 2-bedroom.
Two-bedroom.
2-bedroom up on Pima Princess.
Pima Princess.
Pima Princess on the 101 exit. 101 or 10? 101, 10 south. Anyway, so Steven Andrade, he moved out after day 1. I had the king room because I snored.
And you walked around at night.
And I moved and I slept walked. Then we had Bubby Buzzacaro. Then we had
Ryan Roberts
Ryan Roberts, Tatman.
Oh.
Adam Lane.
and myself.
Yeah. So that was 5. We had 6 though. I don't know who the other one was.
Guillermo.
Oh, Q. Guillermo Quiros.
Yeah.
Guillermo
Catching
Quiros.
prospect, yeah.
Catching
He
prospect.
made it for a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was up in the big league. He was up in the big leagues and sent him to the fall league, and then I got to be the backup catcher on the fall league team.
There you
go.
So there it is.
All right, so here we are now, just like you guys thought back then when you guys were squeezing into the focus.
No, G6.
G6, whatever.
G6.
Here we are, hitting coach of the Blue Claws, sitting
Mhm.
next to star national show host Erik Kratz, just like you expected. So how's life going as a hitting coach?
It's been great. I love every moment of it, more than most. But it's development. It's been great to be in the cage. I got to reach out to a lot of my friends before I got this job to just see if it was for me, and they were like, "You'll get back in that dugout, and you'll love being in that dugout." And I've loved being in the dugout. Even in spring training, it was great.
Linda, South Alabama
Mhm.
graduate. Okay.
Mhm.
The powerhouse mecca, baseball capital of the world. You got drafted as a sophomore, an older sophomore. Okay, I say all that to say, won a Silver Slugger. You did so many things in the game. Walk us through. Tell us. You might be too humble to say it, but what you did after you were done. Because when you have 12 years in the show, play as long as you did, accomplish the things that you did, you could just be like, I just want a job. I want to do what I want to do. Tell everybody what you did, because I have so much respect for you going back to school and doing what you did.
Yeah, it was a great process once I retired. I'm pretty laid back, but as many Major League Baseball players or professional athletes are, I'm pretty motivated and very competitive. It may not seem like that on the surface, but I always have goals that I want to accomplish. So when I quit playing, my wife, she started a business. We had 3 kids, so I stayed at home, raised them, and then in 2020 I went back to I didn't get accepted to the University of South Florida first, so I went back. I went to JUCO first. Went to University of St. Pete.
Finally went.
I took a year there, and then I got accepted in the University of South Florida and got a degree in Spanish and Latin American culture.
Spanish.
Tu sabe.
Yeah.
And how much Spanish did you know before you went into school?
Líneas.
Yeah, you knew líneas and hamburguesas.
Yeah.
And you would
awesome.
and you
Mango.
and you knew how to say Jose Bautista.
Jose Bautista.
Exactly. And but you did it because
I wanted to return to the game. This game has I've been very fortunate to play this game at a high level. Had a great career, had just so many life experiences by playing in Major League Baseball and crossing paths with people from so many different countries. And I thought for me, from my career and my playing experience, the best option for me was to try and learn Spanish to get back into the game, and it's worked out so far.
that's
awesome.
To me, that's humbling. He humbled himself to do that because he's looking to give back. Like, so many people get out of the game and they're like, how much do GMs make? How much do I make if I go to this TV network? How much do I make? And Linda went back and learned Spanish because he can now connect with everybody, minus the Japanese prospect that the Phillies signed. But like, you can connect with everybody, and to me, you did that. And anyway,
well, going back to school was a great experience because that was like my internship to get into pro baseball, because I was in class with 18 and 19-year-olds, just like the age that I'm teaching here, 19, 20, 21-year-olds. So I got to spend 3 years with the age group that I'm now coaching. So I got to learn that generation and somewhat learn how they think and operate and what motivates them.
you're so cool.
That is really cool. Now, I want to talk about your hitting coach. Now, do you have certain techniques that you like that you follow by? Is there something that you are always fixed on time? I mean, you got your right-handed, left-handed batters. You got your pull guys. You got your guys slap hitters. You're gonna see all different types of hitters as you've seen this year. Is there a certain thing that you live by and that you try and teach to these hitters at a minor league level?
Well, I got 3 rules that my guys know. One, you watch the game, because we'll have reports, but that doesn't mean that that's how that pitcher is going to pitch today, especially in the minor leagues. Like the opposing team might be like, hey, pitcher, you have to throw 20 changeups today. Even though he hasn't thrown a changeup all year, that's just part of playing in the minor leagues. 2 is you have to swing like a man. There's no weak swings out there. No butts out. We're hacking. And 3 is swing at pitches around the plate. Nothing too far out the zone. I get it. We all swing at balls, but try and be somewhat of a competent hitter, and we swing like a man. We'll have decent results.
And I like that you say around the plate. A lot of people say on the plate. So, like, you got to understand, umpires are going to miss calls. And guess what? If there's a pitch, like for me and Kratz too, like we used to hit pitches this far off and still get them out. Like, if it's a pitch you think you can drive around the plate, go after it. And I think I love that, because guys are all worried about, it was 2 balls off. Well, guess what? Umpire called a strike. So what? Now, I want to finish with hitting techniques. You got this launch angle stuff. Are you big into launch angle? Do you see guys coming up and you have to? For me, I'm not the biggest fan of launch angle. You got to do these different drills and all this kind of stuff. I'm getting on top of the ball, driving it, and getting that backspin. I mean, what are your thoughts on launch angle?
Launch angle was an important part of the game, especially towards the end of our careers with the sinkers, and mainly the sinker and slider pitch. But a lot has changed. I feel like we reverted back to almost the 60s and 70s with the carry fastball. And if you drop your barrel or swing uphill, it's not going to work. So there's a place for launch angle, but also you have to get on top of 94 with carry. And there's also like reality and feeling, or, you know, process and feeling. Our process is get on top of the ball, but we're not actually swinging down, but we're also not doing launch angles. So we've been humbled a little bit with some of the teams we face that have better carry pitchers, and then we have to make that adjustment. And we've done a good job, especially in 6-game series. That allows my hitters time to develop and make adjustments on how an organization or a team will throw.
You get the spin right fastball up there, Linda.
We get we get spin rates, and spin rates also go for, like, you know, we'll have some of our analysts in town, and they can tell what type of pitch it was by spin rate. You know, splits have slower spin rates, changeups have slower spin rates. I'm like, oh, that was his changeup, even though they didn't even, their eyes were closed when the pitcher threw it.
All right, so I want to go to you kind of glazed over a little bit, the end of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me your last big league season, what your stats were? Because Linda and I, so Linda got you drafted in 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got drafted in 2. I spent my 3 years prerequisite in rookie ball that I needed to, which was terrible. But then we went to fall league together. We actually ended our careers in AAA with the Yankees in 18. Yeah. Can you tell us what? Because then I'll ask my question. Your career in 17 was with the Nats.
Okay. I think I maybe hit 302.
Oh, you did.
I'll help you. 303.
Yeah, you did.
303.
Yep.
14 homers because I hit my 200th homer.
Yep. Do you know the slash? Because we like to read the slash.
Slash would be slugging or
no
OBP.
Slash, like everything.
My OBP.
Oh, no way.
BA 303 on base. Probably my 370.
362.
Slug. I think I was over 500.
513.
513.
We like OPS plus too on this show to kind of simplify things. 100 was league average. Do you know what you were?
I mean, with those numbers, I was probably over league average.
122.
Yeah.
Well above.
And
so everyone in the chat's like, hey, you were 33, crushing for the Nats. Why did you stop?
So there you go. So he gave me he already answered or gave the question. Why'd you stop? Because they what?
Come
on, Linda, you can say it. I'll say it for you. They didn't call him. I don't know which camera we're using. They didn't call him. We had a game in Syracuse where Reynolds was playing first base.
Mm-hmm.
Linda walked. He's on first base, and I'm like, guys, check this out. 2 dudes that had 170 some RBIs between the 2 of them the year before, and they're both in freaking Syracuse in May or April.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking about how the game has kind of not always looked to the older guy and given the older guys who have done awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how defeated you were because you were like, your exact quote was, what do I tell my kids if they play in the big leagues, like about the honesty and true like job opportunities if I hit 300 and I don't get a job offer the next year. You got no big league offers that next year and barely any minor league offers.
Mm-hmm. It's part of the game. If you have feelings in this game, it's the wrong industry. It was just something that the industry did not value at that time. You know, speed, defense, youth, athleticism was paramount. I went to Jose Batista's jersey retirement last year, and Cito Gaston, one of my favorite coaches, best hitting gurus of all time that I worked with. He's like, when you quit playing, did you like baseball? And I was like, no, I didn't. And he was like, that's normal. But I gave myself some time, and I came back, and I healed, and I recovered, and I saw how fun guys had when I was at that game, and I was like, you know, it goes back to those feelings. I don't need to have feelings, man. The game continues to move on. I love the game. Give back to the game that gave me so much. And that's what's beautiful about the minor leagues. You know, there's no business involved yet. Everyone's developing. Everyone's in the same boat, grinding, and it's just great to be back in the dugout on the field, having a uniform, wearing my jersey. I don't wear a hoodie. I don't wear the pullover. I wear my jersey every game. And I'm proud of that.
That's nice. I like that.
That's nice.
Now, talk about the grind. Talk about the healing. You got these young kids here that don't really understand. Some of them don't even understand their swing or approach or whatever they want to do. How do you, since you've been there for one and you understand that grind, talk to a kid that's over his last 8 or 10, and he's in there like, shoot, I better get going or I'm going to get cut. Like, how does those conversations go? How do your meetings go with those kids like that? Because I remember being there struggling, like, I got to get to the top right now, when you got to understand it's just a process. And, not everybody's going to get there.
Yeah, it's been very humbling. There's a lot of different dynamics with each kid. Each kid has their own individual needs. I think I give them some out-of-the-box suggestions that typical hitting coaches wouldn't give, like how to survive. I may not be the best at the perfect swing and understanding like what the computer says about the swing and all the numbers, but I know the art of hitting, and I will offer them suggestions of, hey, why don't you just step across your body since he's throwing you all off-speed pitches and go out there and get it, or you've been beat by heaters, instead of starting earlier, maybe just step in the bucket one time and buggy whip it towards the third base coach. Like, how do we find a way to get the barrel on the ball without being such a perfectionist and trying to perfect one swing? How do we survive on a day-by-day basis?
What's the hardest part? What's the hardest part of coaching now?
Giving advice that doesn't succeed in the game. Seeing a kid that we have good work during the day, and then in the game they still go over 4. Maybe when I played opening day, I had a little butterflies, but other than that, I had never had butterflies. Every game now, I'm nervous every game
because of what you worked with the dudes, and you hope it works out.
I don't have 4 bats anymore. I have 36.
But you understand how hard it is. Like, not everybody's going to get on base.
No,
but
it wasn't hard for him.
No, well, no, not for him. But understand, like, now, like, for lack of better words, you're fathering these kids to make it to that next level, and it's like when you don't see them succeed, it's like, damn it, did I do enough? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that goes through in your mind, like.
Well, expectations change from player to player. I have one player that has been struggling throughout his whole career. Now he's hitting 300. And now he's like, what's wrong?
Feel good.
No, he's like, what's wrong? He's like down to 290. I was like, dude, it's hard to hit 300. Like, like, you've been hitting the ball great, but you're getting out there. There's people out there, And one of the big phrases that Gene Tennis, you got to hit green to make green.
Yeah.
Like soft, hard, over the wall, whatever it takes.
Linda, could you still do it? Have you taken BP yet?
In the cage, I've hit off the tee. Like you said before I walked in, I need June to hit before the wind starts blowing out and the weather starts warming up a little bit. And I need big league balls. I can't hit
You can't
old raggedy balls. I can't. I have standards.
Those obliques might not stick around. I mean, shoot, when you were like 26, you used to wear the heat pack just to get those obliques.
Yeah. Well, I tell these guys, I was like, yeah, you guys can pull side homer, but the only guy in this room can go deep all over these.
Who's the hitting coach that you're like, I go to 60% of the time stuff that he had said?
Well, one of my the person I talked to the most in this process was Chad Mottola.
The Rays
hitting coach. I played with him. He was my coach in AAA. He was my coach. We played with him. He was my coach in AAA. He was my coach in the big leagues. He was the first person I called when I started this assignment. But the phrase that comes into my mind so much is from Dwayne Murphy. It's not Oppo. It's Oppo. Because I don't know if that makes any sense, but he was so passionate about it when he'd say it. And then, it's mainly about driving the ball instead of trying to force the ball over there. And that's what I tell these kids. Like, look, you didn't even try to hit the ball over. It just happens when you have a good swing.
I like that. All right, so my last one, I need a scouting report because we're talking to Justin Crawford soon. So give me the on-field, off-field scouting report, something we got to ask that we'll get him to open up for us a little bit, take us inside the brain here for a second.
I mean, he plays every day. He plays hard. He's great to be around.
We need something good.
Something.
Like it could be.
Okay,
give me a swing thing.
Ask him about his roommate, Amarian Boyd.
Okay.
Amarian Boyd.
Love that. He just hit a slam lamb.
Yeah,
like the best homer you could possibly hit.
No, he did it. Like I tell these guys, the oldest trick in the book is the high heater, and then they throw the curveball.
Yeah.
Offensively, he did the oldest trick in the book. He tried to bunt, missed it, and then went big fly.
Boom.
Tried to bunt with the bases loaded and went slam lamb.
It's the oldest trick in the book.
That is
like
Reel him in.
That is a freaking book I never got.
That's your problem.
That is there's more than just that is my problem, or that is my problem.
I would probably be confused if I was a pitcher on the mound, though. Like if I did my homework, I'm like, this is one of their top prospects. bases are loaded. It's the
Trick 'em.
minors.
This is
guy's
where
trying to bunt off me?
this is where we go back to the art of hitting.
Mhm.
We do the bunt, foul that off on purpose, and then
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Here comes a four-seamer.
yeah.
If
And
you
the
could-
art or the theory of hitting is still being written.
It is.
Love that.
I like it. All right, perfect. We'll get to him soon. Thank you, dude. Great to have you
Yeah,
on. Appreciate
My
you.
pleasure.
Yeah. Oh, and some people
Yeah,
said
thanks
it
for the
looks
hat,
like,
by the way.
yeah, but so he's wearing it on the front. Some people are like, it looks like he's got shades on, but it's the hat. That's one of the better designs I've seen. That's
I'm
an
telling
A
you.
plus.
How about the
I
Medusa?
appreciate that, Scott.
Medusa is nice. I'm telling you, that's unique. The colors are great there. That's unique.
I got thrown in kangaroo court for wearing this every day because it's my favorite hat.
Oh,
It's
pay
got
the
the
fine.
kangaroo
So
court.
we have kangaroo
It's
court.
got the
Are your
Ferris
fines
wheel.
more because they
rides,
baseball
roller
reference
coaster.
you and they're like,
Yes, I get big league taxed. I
You
get
get big league
I
tax?
get big league taxed.
I mean, that is what is big league tax right now? By the way,
It's how many years you played.
in the show
So yeah,
or
so,
the whole time
in the pros.
in the pros. You were a pro for a while.
Yeah.
Mm.
You weren't in the show the whole time.
No.
I have so many Linda stories, but obviously we can't get to all of them.
We're going to make it an annual thing. We'll come to Jersey Shore. Although
He's moving.
well, hopefully, you
I
know,
was gonna
he's
say,
moving up.
we're going to have to.
Oh, I got the grocery store next to my house. It's nice. You
Yeah,
know,
We'll
good
go to
luck.
Reading. We'll go to Reading
Yeah.
next year if you get
We
moved.
can go to
if you get-
Reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Linda will be a hitting
We'll
coach
get
in
him
the
at
big
the end.
leagues
He'll
soon.
come over the house.
And then he
Well,
won't talk to
we
us.
have this thing in our department. Like, what are your goals? My goal is to be employed next year, not to like learn anything, but just to be offered another contract.
There you go.
Yeah, set the bar kind of low. I think you've got a good shot of accomplishing that. All right, we'll be right back.
Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of Foul Territory. Unified Healing is an innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. This technology promotes wellness and deep relaxation, and there are hundreds of locations across the globe. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifydhealing.com/foul to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/FOUL. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System.
Better than box scores.
What a
Well,
graphic. I wonder who made
it's
that.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. It's nice.
You did?
No.
Yeah.
Jared definitely made that.
I didn't
Come
think
on.
so.
You have a team member who is a big Red Sox fan behind
It
the
wasn't.
scenes.
It wasn't Jared. Found out it was Derek. That might have.
he
He
still,
must have.
he still approves it.
No, that was
He
Claudia.
said, "Oh, that was good. I like that one a lot. Should make more like that."
Derek probably cried
Ironically,
just to make that.
well, ironically, on the other side, we're starting with Aaron Judge on Better Than Box Scores. So he had a 2-run dinger last night. He's got a league-leading 18 home runs on the season. He has 24 extra base hits in May. In May?
No, before the end of May, I think. Or is it in May?
No, it's in May.
Or we're still in May.
He's
one
got
more
one.
day.
He's got
Today's
one
the
more day to
31st
break.
of
I
the
thought
record.
it was April and May.
No.
Just in May? I thought the record, the whole time I read that, I thought the record was up till May. But
no.
it's just in May?
Oh yeah, he's got
Good
20.
Lord.
You forget he struggled in the beginning, and everybody's like, "Oh man, Judge is going off the charts. He's not going to do this and that." And then
Yeah.
boom, this guy is mashing baseballs.
Boom.
He's hitting for power. He's getting RBIs. He's getting on base. He's hitting home runs. And Soto is right in front of him there doing the same thing. Like this team, you think about top and bottom. Anthony Volpe gets on base. It's pretty much game over right now, if you want the truth. It's pretty much game over. The guy's got a 26-game on-base streak. I know his hitting streak just snapped a little bit, but it's pretty much game. This guy gets on base. Those two other guys are going to drive him in, and they're going to win games. They won 2-1 the other day, and guess what? Those are big wins. They're playing against Angels teams that they should win. Then they won 8-3 yesterday. So it is very contagious. He's one extra base hit away with 1 day left. Does he get it or does he not?
I don't know. I mean, Hicks, he loves sinker ball guys. Sinker ball guys can't get above that swing.
I think
Hicks is working in the four-seam fastball. He's going to have to get it up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, I mean, shoot, he can hit it out of Yosemite. So it doesn't
you're
matter
not
that
kidding.
Oracle Park is huge. But I have to give you your props.
Oh, really?
You were just a year early. You said last year, bro, big dog, I see Volpe could be in the leadoff spot by like All-Star break or something. Okay. All-Star break of the next season.
Yeah.
So I got to give you your props.
Thank
now, part of it was because of LeMahieu.
Mhm.
So I wonder if they would have put him in the leadoff spot.
Interesting.
Like, good Lord, has that worked out? Because he's giving you Gold Glove defense.
Yeah.
And I know we're talking about Judge. I know, I get that. But to me, Judge doesn't happen without Volpe taking ownership and really making the Heat, like, he's just taking advantage of, hey, we can't put Volpe on for free. And then who you got hitting behind? Oh, Yudgy.
Oh, you got any horse you really want to think about. You got Stanton. Rizzo's not doing the best. You got a Verdugo. Excuse me, I should have said Verdugo first. Nobody saw him coming back in the cleanup spot either. These guys are doing really well. You know, you could say all the words you want about him. Great, awesome, unbelievable, uncharacteristic. Who saw Luis Hill coming? I mean, there's a lot of storylines for this Yankee team, and they don't have some of their key cogs. Jonathan Loaizaga, another guy in the bullpen, which they need. And Garrett Cole. I mean, Jesus, when he comes back, what's going to happen? So there's going to be some interesting questions to be answered, but when you're winning, it doesn't matter. Keep going. I know Clark Schmidt went down. So the gods always have a way of working out. You don't want to see a guy go down like that. He's probably been their second best pitcher this year, if we're going by numbers and the way he's pitched. So they really, really have some good things going here.
So a couple things. One, the record for a Yankee in a single month is not getting touched. Joe DiMaggio. This for May. I'm just saying for any month, just to clarify I don't want to get DMs later being like, oh, you had a stat wrong. Joe DiMaggio had a franchise record, 31 extra base hits in 1937. We all remember that. But also,
31.
Not to be Debbie Downer, but Clark Schmidt hurts.
It does.
He'll be back. It's a lat strain, but he's shut down for 4 to 6 weeks. It'll take probably another month or so to ramp up. We're looking at late in the season at this point. We're in June, right? So he ramps it back up starting maybe mid-July, and then you need another month. So now we're deep into August. It's fine. And yes, Cole is probably going to make his first rehab start early next week, I think Tuesday. So it does work out when you have media asking Aaron Boone, like, what are you going to do when Cole comes back with the rotation? 90% of the time, someone gets hurt in the meantime. But you're right. Schmidt was at 2.52 ERA and 11 starts. He was dealing this year.
And like his last 9, he's been even better than the 2.52. So, yeah, that's a tough loss. That's anybody's tough loss. This is where the depth comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they're in good shape.
Hurry up, Garrett. No, just kidding.
No, don't hurry up.
I was kidding. You know that.
Take your damn time. But the Baltimore Orioles are still moving and grooving.
Still doing them quietly, I feel like. Quietly, but
kind of. Except for Gunnar Henderson.
Oh my God.
He's so awesome. He really is. He's one of my top. He's one of my top 5 players right now. Like I'm putting,
no doubt,
in the sense of like somebody you should watch play. Like to me, you can't turn the TV off right now if Tucker's swinging, Seager's swinging, Gunnar Henderson swinging, Judgy swinging. Like those guys currently right now are unbelievable. And Gunnar Henderson is doing it in the leadoff spot, which is so awesome. I love the not resurgence, but just the change of what people think a leadoff hitter should be. He's not Kyle Schwarber. I get it. Schwarber hitting 47 dingers from the leadoff spot.
He's on pace for 54.
But he hits 54. He's on pace for 54.
Yeah, he's not going to get 54.
It shows, and I think it's like 123 RBI he's on pace for.
Yep.
So to me, that
numbers.
shows what kind of depth you have. We talk about the Braves and how Kelnick and Duvall, the bottom half of that lineup, need to pick it up from a banging lineup. This whole lineup, the Orioles' whole lineup, Colton Cowser was hitting 7th or 8th for I don't know how long until they're finally like, look, we got to move you up. And they just the whole Westberg was hitting 8th or 9th. And that's where he's getting all these RBIs from. And you only lead off one time. So the whole fact that, he could hit 54 homers from the leadoff spot, it's only once. It's only once. He has one chance to hit a solo dinger.
Can you also make the case that on a team like this, it means more because of the depth you have in your lineup? Like some teams don't have it. 6 or 7 through 9. Like you just mentioned, there's going to be mashers for Baltimore 7 through 9. And if they're not mashing, they're going to hit the bench or go back to the minor leagues, and they've got 5 other guys from AAA to bring up. You know what I'm saying? If you're on a team,
it matters more.
If you're on a team where you look and you're like, they're kind of top heavy, 7 through 9 is not great. Like actually the Dodgers have been like that most of the year, right?
Dodgers too,
and you're leading off. It has a little less to it because you're often actually stepping up and no one's on for you, right? Because there were just a few outs before you. In this case, like you mentioned, dudes are getting on for him. They're not solo homers from the leadoff spot.
They're not, but you also can't move them. You can't move them to, like, especially as a lefty. You have Adley. When Adley's facing right-handers, he's doing well. But maybe you'd switch. I don't know that you want to switch anything. They're doing unbelievable. But with the bottom of that lineup, I don't disagree with you. Maybe you think like, hey, the bottom of this lineup is getting on. We want somebody right away. Because normally you'd think that many homers, hey, let's slide him into 3, 4 spot. Maybe even now.
Not 4 nowadays. 2
Not
or 3.
nowadays, 2 or 3. But hey, we got to get more RBIs out of Gunnar. You don't think about that. You don't think about that with that depth in their lineup.
I just feel like the less you hear about them, I mean, no, Gunnar Henderson, I feel like the better they're doing. Like, it's weird to say. Like, they've never been that team like the Yankees. They're always talked about in the Mets, and that's just, I think they're not, I'm not saying they're under the radar, but they're just going here. You know what I mean? They're just grinding. They're just climbing that mountain and just going. And
who are you more scared of? A team that is just an absolute locomotive going downhill, or a team that's to me, I would say that the Yankees are a rocket ship. The Yankees are like, we didn't know what we were going to get, but man, they exploded out. They're doing it.
Yep.
The Orioles are like, come on this ride. Come on this ride. We're just moving downhill. There's nothing stopping us. Who are you afraid of?
Well, I'm afraid of the Orioles because they took 3 out of 4 for 1 from the Yankees, and they haven't played much against each other. So I would say the Orioles right now because I know they're not in first place, but still, when they play more and they play against each other, then my answer might change. But these guys are all silky smooth, just riding that wave, man.
They're young. That's what I like about
you.
them.
What?
Dude, I'm so much younger than you are.
What?
And more mature. But
I didn't say that.
They're young. And to me, I think there's an edge. I think the Yankees have more of an edge than they've had in the last few years with a Stroman and with a Verdugo in that lineup where you're like, the guy's kind of edgy and they're not just kind of boring and vanilla. Young teams have an edge that you're like, I wonder if those dudes were like out partying last night and now they're coming in and they're still getting after it. And then who's the first dude that strolls up to the plate? Gunnar Henderson. He kind of reminds me of what Acuna was doing last year in the sense that, like, with him at the top, I'm afraid of some nerfies with the Orioles. He just can do some stuff early in the game that sets a tone, and it's like, yep, here we go.
Hey.
Oh yeah, that's not a team you touch if you're trying to get a no-run first inning bet going.
Actually,
want to clarify. Also, want to clarify when you are talking about a young team and thinking, oh, they went out last night. Going out nowadays is actually a virtual hangout. It's called Fortnite or
on the sticks.
Yeah,
get the
something
headset
else
on.
on the sticks. And they might be like, yo, I went to bed at like 1:30. I was like deep in whatever the freak they call it. I don't know. I don't play that stuff. But,
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. All that.
If they wanted to play Sega Genesis, Madden 95, Mortal Kombat, I'm in.
At Todd's age, Call of Duty is just like pretty much every 2 hours on a road trip.
I got a quick news note I want to sneak in here because then I'm going to ask our next guest about him because they were teammates. David Fletcher is a pitcher now.
I saw that. Wow.
But like he's good.
Throwing the Newsco-baller. Throwing that knuckleball up there.
Throwing the knuckle. Did you see you got Jackson Holiday on a
high Newsco ball?
Yeah,
high knuckler?
That was nasty.
He pitched the other day for Gwinnett. That's AAA for the Atlanta Braves org. 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. It's not like, oh, it was 13-2 and they called in Fletcher. Like, this
started.
Is he coming to the show soon? No? Why?
Have you seen who the Braves call up? He's eating innings in AAA right now.
Yeah, but the Braves back end starting depth.
Stop.
I want to see where he's topping out at too. Have you seen his mile per hour?
I know when he was throwing in his relief outings, I saw an 86. When I say relief, he was like coming in for like kind of mop up duties. but I'll check out what his velo is. But they're not call. If the Braves have to call up a knuckleballer, it will be for a spot start. When you have guys like who was it? Wellenbach just came up.
Mhm.
You have Bryce Elder came up. You have Smith Shawver came up. Like the Braves are a pitching factory, and they have been, and they will be for years. And I don't see David Fletcher being the guy that's going to eat some innings so that Sale can miss a start.
Agreed. Enough said there. It's fun to watch.
Most pitches thrown no more than 67 miles an hour in any MLB or AAA game this season. 60 from Fletcher in that game. And the week before, 45 from him. Yeah, he's all over that list. So,
hey, the knuckleball,
the slow stuff.
I say new school ball because Robinson Diaz played a little bit of time in the big leagues now, or was the bullpen catcher for the Brewers, but he used to call it new school ball. He would go, "Oh, these guys have new school ball?" It's hilarious. But anyway.
That's good. I like that.
No, I felt like I was on the outside of that joke. Now I'm in. So
now you're in.
Thank you. All right, let's bring in our next guest, Logan O'Hoppe, joining us right now for very good reason, which I'll bring up in just a moment. But Angels captain on with us. Logan, great to have you back, dude. First off, just real quick while we're on this, see David Fletcher throwing knuckleballs, newskullballs, as Kratz calls them in the minors. What do you think?
I did. Good to be back, guys. Thank you. But yeah, that was fun to watch. We had it on in the clubhouse before the game. Actually, we were all gathered around the TV. So that was definitely Fletch being Fletch.
Have you faced knuckleballs like at a high level? Did anyone throw them?
I haven't. I've only caught one guy in the fall league, but yeah, I mean it's not fun to catch. So I hope I don't have to hit one anytime soon.
Exactly.
Logan, actually, I got invited to the fall league. I know you wouldn't suspect that because I wasn't a prospect like you or incredibly handsome, but that was the actual one pitcher. I played every 5 days, and I wasn't on the taxi squad, but I actually caught Charlie Zink. I caught all of his starts, and it was a knuckleball.
Okay.
And so don't tell people that you caught a knuckleballer in the fall league because somehow that got out. And the Blue Jays traded for me to catch R.A. Dickey's knuckleball. And
really?
that essentially sent me on a whirlwind tour of 14 different big league organizations. So we'll have our producer delete what you just said. I think we had some audio issues. Do not tell anybody you've ever caught a knuckleball because that's not the life you're looking for.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's really good to know. Thank you. So, yeah, that'll be the last time I ever mention anything about that. So I appreciate you bringing that.
About what?
Yeah, no, nothing.
Mentioning about what?
I don't know.
Yep.
Can we delete this when the podcast gets posted later for the audio side?
I think it'll be fine, man. Yo, you've been mad.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
You've been mashing, man. You're playing against a team you grew up loving. Hit a couple home runs. How you feeling right now? I know the team's struggling a little bit. Picked up that first win, but for you personally, you look pretty good at the plate. I didn't watch one game, and I turned it on, and then you struck out on some sliders last night. I'm sorry I had to bring that up, but
you got Rodon.
But you did get Rodon before that. How you feeling? And for you guys coming up.
Yeah, selfishly, I'm feeling better by the day. Yeah, I mean, it's the first time. Really, it's my first full season. Last year being hurt in the minor leagues, it's much different. So it's a lot of new challenges and a lot of new things that I didn't realize that were so tough day to day. Like you're keeping the swing in order and making sure the thoughts are consistent on a daily basis. So it's something I'm still learning with, but I have been feeling better with it the past couple of days, and yeah, we got to start winning games too because that definitely helps everything.
How was the homer off Rodon? You take us through it and also just give us the scouting report on him this year because he was one of the biggest question marks heading into the season. No secret. He's talked about it a ton. It was a disaster first year for him with the Yanks. He's pretty damn good now. And I know you got him, but he's been dealing this year for the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, that whole staff is tough. They're tough to figure out. Command of all their pitches, and Rodon, we knew he threw a lot of heaters and that good slider off of it. So, yeah, I was looking for a heater early and got it, but pretty impressive stuff out of that, man.
So we're obviously here in your old stomping grounds. If you can see the stadium in the background, does it give you, because there's some stadiums that I would go to that give me angst. We went to my son's high school team. My two boys, we played at Trenton Thunder Stadium, whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. And it gave me some angst. Like, I didn't like being there. If you look past Todd's huge head, does that give you angst seeing that? You're like, oh man, I struggled, or oh man, I had a girlfriend there, or I had too many fans that came. Like, does this stadium give you angst, or are you like kind of owned that joint?
No, I love that place, man. I love that place. I had fun there that year I was there. The group of guys we had, my manager that was there at the time, all of it, the town, the pork roll, egg and cheese in the morning, everything.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Ruffle some feathers with that one, but all of it. I mean, it was a great time there, and I enjoyed every second of it.
So there's a little history here.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we do a little bit of research. Actually, we don't do any research. We have super awesome interns that do all the research, and Scott's got great hair, and I have hats. So that's our great traits.
Contributions to the world.
But we did a little history. Do you know what the history that we found out about Logan O'Hoppe and the renamed Jersey Shore Blue Claws? Do you know the history?
Do not.
You are the first person to hit a home run after they renamed it from Lakewood to Jersey Shore.
That's right. I remember that now. Yeah.
You knew that.
That was opening night. Yeah, the family was there. It's not too far from home.
So is that?
Yeah.
So what is that? What is that like to play so close to home? I think you were 20 when you were here. Am I right? Or were you 19?
21.
21. What is that? What is that like to be that close to home and be like kind of like you're not going to flex on yourself, but Todd, this is Todd's land here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, you're kind of a celebrity. What was that like at 21 years old? Was it something that you were like, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, or were you like, best time of my life, wish I was there now?
Well, 23rd rounders definitely aren't celebrated by anybody. That's for sure. But no, it's something I didn't take for granted when I got to do it, but it's something that I really miss. I did it for 4 years playing close to home, and obviously the new schedule had come out after COVID, I think it was, where we had every Monday off, and it was a quick drive home, and I got to see the family and see the people I love the most, and it was really, really good for my headspace and where I was at. And I had some buddies and some people on the team that were great too throughout the year when I couldn't go home. But I mean, it was a real treat being able to do that, and something I definitely miss.
So you definitely miss it. You couldn't be farther from home now. You couldn't have gone farther from where you were.
Yeah.
Is there something to that? Did that take some transition time, or is it like, bro, I'm in the big leagues, I'm in Southern California, Mark Trout is my teammate, and we're Gucci?
It's an adjustment, I would say. I mean, like I said, I did it for 4 years, and I mean, last year was different too, being hurt. Playing every day when you're away, it's different. It doesn't matter if it's the big leagues or the minor leagues. So it's something I'm working with, and it's tough too. I'm really close to my family, and I talk to them every day, and it's tough after games too. You get in and it's 10:30 and they're all asleep on the East Coast, so you got to wait till the next one. So those are the tougher parts of the day. But I mean, like you said, it is the big leagues, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Hey, we got dudes behind us on the field, mostly shirtless, playing. What game is that? Do you guys?
Balls.
I was
Are
like,
you
well,
serious, bro?
I know. I've seen it a million times.
I didn't know
forgot
the name either. I
Sorry.
forgot it too. I mean,
Jersey education.
this guy-
One time, go to the shore. Go down the shore.
well, take your shirt off then and do
Yeah,
it right
exactly.
now.
Go out
Oh,
and
hey,
play.
hey.
Logan, did you do that before games? Like, what was your thing? Either, I guess minor league's a little more chill, but did you play any, like, toss the football around, spike ball when you were in the minors before
Aerobie?
games?
Aerobie? Did you throw the aerobie?
What's that?
The aerobie?
Yeah, the aerobie. The
Frisbee thing?
frisbee that goes
The circle
forever.
frisbee.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw that.
Oh,
Shush, he's answering.
we didn't do much of it. I like to eat eat naturally, so we went to a lot of breakfast spots.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, that was really the morning. We'd sleep in, like, go get breakfast and go. So not a lot of activities before, but we definitely show up to the field pretty full.
You talk about food right now. What's the food you miss the most growing up in Long Island? What's the you're like, God, I can go for this after the game right now.
How much time do we have? Do we have enough?
Let's hear it because I'm hungry.
Give me your go-to. I know your mom probably made some really good meals, but there's got to be something that's like, man, I can have this every other day of the
You can
week.
do power rankings, like your top 3 if you
Yeah,
want.
give me a power ranking.
Yeah, I'll give 3 environments or places that I miss. One's Mom's Kitchen. That's one. But 2 and 3, there are 2 restaurants I love on Long Island. It's called Rob Key's and Birdie Bar. And those 2 places are both in Northport. And any meal from those places is unbelievable. The pork chop martini is my favorite from Rob Key's. It's schnitzeled pork chop, some cherry peppers, and it's pretty ridiculous, man. You can't get that anywhere else. I've tried to replicate it in California, but I mean, what good is that compared to the real thing, you know? So when I do get back home, that's the first place I'll be going.
Damn.
Schnitzel.
He said schnitzel.
Schnitzel pork
It's a
chop.
good thing. It's a good thing we're we don't have filters here. It's a no filter show. You can't just say schnitzel anytime you want. Okay.
On national television,
I'm a foodie.
you actually can.
You couldn't go for like a nice pie on your favorite pizzeria spot. You know what I mean?
Have you seen his body?
Yeah,
He's not putting no pies in that Cuervo.
He definitely is. Don't even get it.
Todd, you can ask Nick. I have an advanced palate, man. So I mean, yeah, the pizza's good, but we got to do it right.
An advanced palate. I need one of those.
I like that.
You do not have an advanced palate.
No,
you are like
I need to hear.
You're like chicken nuggets and hot dogs.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
I got it. While the Step Brothers talk, I got 2 more for you on the Angels. So here's one.
Yeah.
I know it's early, but 65 plate appearances. He's hitting .419 with a .446 on base, .742 slugging. And he got cut by one of the worst teams in baseball. So you want to hype up your new teammate a little bit?
Yeah, give me the name because I think I have the guy in my head.
Kevin Pillar?
Yes, that's exactly what I had in my head. KP is one of the best dudes to walk into that clubhouse with. I mean, he's a better person than he is that stat line you just read off, and he makes everyone in that room better. And luckily, I got to not only cross paths with him but play with him for a consistent stretch, you know. And I'm so happy he's doing as well as he is because he deserves every bit of it.
So actually, when he got fired by the White Sox, he came on the show. Literally, his car was packed, and he came on the show just to talk about getting DFA'd, talk about getting fired. What are some of the things that, to me, that's pro? What are some of the pro things that KP has done that you can tell us on the show?
Whew. Yeah, I mean, a lot, so I can't really pick one out in particular, but it's really his presence in the meetings and presence in the clubhouse and helping the younger guys and getting all his work in. You know, I mean, he's, like you said, he's a pro's pro and just helps all the younger guys feel comfortable. And I never feel like I'm asking him a stupid question, and he always handles everything with patience and some grace. So, yeah, I'm really happy we have him.
Okay, so let's finish with this hot debate this week, and really the last couple weeks in our world, the interference call in baseball that seems to be popping up. So it popped up the other day with Neto running into Soto. Can you give me your version of what you saw, what the guys were saying about it? And Kratz is definitely going to want to chime in because he was going at it yesterday. AJ versus Kratz for 10 minutes was freaking theater.
Love that.
Yeah. From my view, the ball was just right in the baseline. So I'm happy I was watching it and not Neto a part of it because I mean, I couldn't really tell who got in the way of who or what had happened. But I mean, I'm just happy we got 2 outs out of it, you know. And yeah, it a weird play, and it's pretty ironic, obviously, that it happened a week or so ago in Chicago, whenever it was.
So should it be changed? Should we change in this rule based on seeing how it happened within 3-4 days, or do you think the rule is correct?
It's a tough one because we got 2 outs from it, so I don't want to change it.
That's okay. I like bias.
Yeah, like one out
That's my
instead of
biased
2.
take.
It should
Right?
be one.
Isn't that
I
what
think
AJ
it should
said?
be. It should be 1 out.
AJ said, "Let's make it 1 instead of 2." Right? Isn't that what he said?
Agreed.
Well, it is 1 out because it's
I
infield
understand.
fly.
It shouldn't be 2. No chance. I don't like it.
Well, I didn't ask you.
Right,
I
but-
asked Logan.
But wait, was AJ's point yesterday? Help me
Strike
here.
2 for you.
AJ's point was it's infield fly. Just call it dead and call the 1 out,
Yep.
and don't call the 2nd out. Right?
That
was his
right.
point.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? If that happens
It
in
makes
the
sense
reverse
to
to
me.
you tomorrow? Okay.
It makes sense to me. I'm going to say yes until a run scores from it, but I agree with it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because it's been big.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Logan. Great to have you on, dude. And
Thank
this
you.
place misses you. All right.
I miss it there. It's a good spot.
Are they gonna have a Logan O'Hoppe bobblehead night here?
Yes.
I don't think so anymore. I think I'm forgotten about over there, but
You should,
yeah,
but
that's
if
fun.
they should,
I got a yes from higher ups already.
yeah, we're already talking to the people here. But it should be bobble quads because have you seen this guy? And he wears the tightest pants on, and you should listen. I would even petition MLB if I had legs like yours. I would petition MLB to be like, can I wear shorts? Because we got to be able to see those things. So I appreciate the see-through pants that you're wearing, but they could be bobble. It could be bobble quads. But we'll talk to Greg about it. Okay.
The Nike pants, man, tightening them up.
Yeah.
You
right.
you
Well,
want
we
them
got to be
extra
careful.
tight.
We got to be
Easy
careful
goes it.
with that.
Easy
Yeah.
goes it.
'Cause a lot of kids come. Yeah.
See you in the off season, big dog. Finish strong.
Oh, big dog.
Thanks. Cheers, man.
Thanks.
All right, next up, little baseballism segment with AJ not being on the show today. He is going to be on the show today because we got a
Always got to give the women what they want.
little
A little bit of
tutorial.
AJ. A little bit of AJ.
Yeah. So we got a little tutorial with Perzinski showing us about how he sticks to his routine for the kiddos. Check this out.
Hey, one of the questions I always get asked is, how do you get through tough times when you're struggling? What's the biggest advice for kids? And I always tell people this, listen, find a routine. You have to have a routine to stick to that you can fall back on. When you're going good, everything's simple, it's easy, food tastes better, everything is nice and fun. When you're struggling, you got to have something to go back to, whether it's a certain amount of swings, whether it's a certain amount of ground balls, whether it's the way you take the field, whatever it is, make it a routine so that every time you take the field, it's the same thing. It's not changing every game. Oh, I'm doing good, I'm going to try this. Oh, I'm doing bad, I got to change everything. No, find a routine, be consistent, and stick to it. Not only will it help you in the good times, more importantly, it'll help you get through the rough times.
Want to check it out, a little motivation. Cheers to Baseballism for helping us put that together. You can check out more gear at baseballism.com, including that new Tony Gwynn line, which is fire. Todd Father's got one of the classics. There you go. Some
Old
of them are
school
sold
Tony.
out, but you can do the what it's called, pre-order, back order, whatever.
Yep.
So you can get them next month. And then I got your classic math equation here today. 6 + 4 + 3 does actually equal 2.
When we have Alcantara on, once he's healthy, he's got that tattooed. So anyway, it's a good
Exactly.
thing.
That
So
is cool.
QR code was there too if you want to check it out. And our next guest is ready to go right now. One of the top prospects in the Phillies org and a member of the Blue Claws. We're here today and appreciate the Blue Claws for hosting us. Justin Crawford with us. What's up, Justin?
Awesome, doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, he
So-
sounds just like you sound just like your dad, man. That's absolutely crazy. with the voice and the chill, like he was as chill as they come.
Yeah.
I gotta get that out of the way. He's the chillest guy I've ever met, man.
That's awesome.
Loved him, man. Loved it. Go ahead, Scott.
How often do you get that?
Pretty frequently. Yeah. Normally I get to looking like him, which is fair. But yeah, I mean, always my whole life I've got looking just like my mom, looking just like my dad. So yeah.
You like that? You okay with that? Like,
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a pretty good comparison. I mean, I think trying to just touch a little bit of what my dad was able to accomplish. So I always appreciate the resemblance.
If
that-
Real
Go
quick,
ahead,
if
go
I
ahead.
could hand you his stats and say, "Hey, you're gonna have the same exact career," would you take it right now?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, goals would be a little bit better.
Okay.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, goals would be a little bit better, and we're definitely really competitive when it comes to that, especially back at the house and all that. But yeah, I mean, if you had to hand me and say, hey, you can have his stats, I will for sure take it though.
Pop still got it though. You think he can still swing it a little bit?
If you ask him, yes, he can. Yeah, we run back and forth with this all the time. The real joke is who's faster.
Oh,
He thinks he still has me.
okay.
Stop it.
I don't think he has a chance, but I mean, if you ask him, he's gonna always say
I
he's
love that.
faster than
I
me.
love
I
that.
think.
That's
No,
awesome.
he was CC. Now he's just Carl. Like, he ain't catching you without catching a hamstring or something. There ain't no way you're living his life unless he's out there sprinting. But if you look at his career and you say, I know what I want to do, and somebody hands that to you and you're like, all right, that's gonna be your career. Do you feel like you're selling yourself a little short? Like I feel like even just a little stuff that you said, you're like, I kind of want to be better than him. I want to beat him in ping pong. I want to like everything.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, like you said it, and everything. So I think when you ask me, do you want to have a career like him? I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, that's right. I want to be a little bit better. I want to hit a little more. I want to get still a little more bases, hit a little more homers, stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you? So for me, when I played, I always set goals, like what I wanted to be, and I always make my goals really high, just in case came close to. It's still a good year. Do you set goals every year of what you want to be and what you want to reach?
Yeah, definitely. I always say shoot for stars, fall in the clouds.
No
So
doubt.
I think you kind of have to set unrealistic, quote unquote, unrealistic goals for yourself, and then kind of just take it one day at a time. You set those goals for you, and then stay in the moment with it, and slowly but surely tick the boxes and try to get there.
Can you tell us any of those? Can you tell us any of those stars?
Well, I mean, stars, I think just first right now we're trying to get to the big leagues. So
Okay,
first
of
trying to
course.
just take it one day at a time and just staying in the grind, because obviously being in the minor leagues, it's a grind, and just staying in the moment, ups and downs. It's kind of a roller coaster. So just trying to stay even kill and just trying to get there one day at a time.
Do you feel like it's unfair as a first rounder in the sense of like you see other guys? Because I was a 29th rounder. Todd was a first rounder. Like you look at those guys and you're like, oh, he got all the signing bonus. His dad played in the big leagues. Do you feel like there's an unfair expectation in the sense of like, we're going out, everybody's going to think I've got to pay or stuff like that 29th rounders don't understand? Like, I'm hoping my next paycheck comes as a 29th rounder. Or are you fine with that, and that expectation isn't that bad for you?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bug me like that. I mean, I think it's something that my parents have done a good job of kind of preparing me for it too, and kind of just growing up with my whole life really. People kind of expect certain things out of you,
Right.
and necessarily just be yourself, and kind of just don't have to hold yourself to those type of things where you are really whatever you let people hold you up to. So that's
good. That's
how I
really
feel.
good advice.
Talk
That's
to us
awesome.
about your game, man. What do you think your best attributes are? What do you bring to the table, and what do you think you could bring once you get to the promised land in the big league?
Yeah, I think just being a guy that goes out there and trying to be a table setter, dude that obviously that has tremendous speed and can go out there and play some defense and could put the ball in play pretty consistently, and slowly but surely starting to tap into that power a little bit. But yeah, I think ultimately trying to get there and just be a good table setter, a good leader, and just go out there and play hard every inning of the game.
As a first rounder for the Phillies, do you sit there and go, holy cow, Trey Turner signed for 13 years. Like, I'm going to play with that dude. You see him in spring training, you're like, hey, like, keep a seat warm for me. Like, I'm excited to play with you. Or how's that dynamic when the Phillies are in win now mode and you understand that they picked you to be part of that win now just in a few years?
Yeah, definitely something that feels really, really good and really, really special to me. But it also just, I try not to really get too caught up in it. I kind of going back to really just staying in the moment and taking it one step at a time and trying to get there. So, I mean,
Right.
trying to get there and just trying to work hard, and knowing that is one of their plans that they have for me. It's something that I'm extremely grateful for, and just trying to take it one day at a time and just keep trying to get there and trying to make it happen.
Hey, what's with the fake bunt Just kidding. Grand slam.
Yeah,
that
man.
he pulled off.
Yeah.
Linda told us. Adam Lynn, your hitting coach, told us about it.
Yeah,
Trick in the book.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
wish I could say I was drawing it up like that. I was trying to get the butt down, but hey, we'll take a grand slam any day of the week like that.
Were
so.
you trying to like get a bunt for a hit, or would it squeeze?
I was trying to get a bunt down and try to squeeze a little RBI real quick, and I didn't. Guess it didn't work for a good reason. I ended up getting.
Where'd it go? Right, left, center? Where'd you hit it?
The homer.
Yeah.
Right field.
Good.
Just fair about a little bit.
Smart
What
move.
did-
That's where you got to live.
It's the only place you get out at this stadium.
this is huge. dude.
Too big, man.
I played high school here. No fun.
Yeah.
Even with a metal bat.
Where did the bunt go?
But I don't know.
Whiffed
Straight
it?
to the ground.
Straight to the
foul. Wasn't good. Yeah.
I always told people I would always say, like, you know how you go out, BP, you get into the turtle, you put your 2 bunts down, or maybe the whole group puts their 2 bunts down and then go to whacking it. I always told people when they didn't get their bunts down, I'd be like, man, I can tell you're a good hitter. And they'd be like, how?
Yeah.
By the way, you got your bunt down.
You got
You can tell you got a good swing by the way you got your bunt down.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Does your mindset change when you don't get a bunt down? Like, oh, damn. I mean, now I'm hitting, but I got to do something here.
I mean, yeah, I think it's kind of just the same as if you miss a middle pitch or something, kind of just have to flush it and forget about it. And like, yeah, it's annoying and irritating that you didn't do what you're trying to do, but all you can do is just flush it and go to the next pitch.
Does it help that you have a hitting coach like Adam Lind? Like, have you Googled Adam Lind?
Oh, yeah.
We lived together in the fall league. He finished his career together with me in the minor leagues. Like, we came up through the Blue Jays system, played on the Blue Jays together. Like, do you Google a hitting coach when you find out you're getting sent to Jersey Shore before the season? You're like, oh, I wonder who our hitting coach is.
Yeah.
Adam Lind? Me? What is this?
Is that Spanish?
Is this a Spanish guy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of already knew going into it a little bit of who Adam was and just seeing him kind of just growing up. So it was really, really cool being able to know that that's who we were going to have going into this year, and just having a guy that was there, did that, done that, and had the successful career that he did. It's something that makes it a lot easier for us players even to come into and to know that what he's teaching us, what he's feeding us is real good, valuable information.
So what happens when you look at it and you're like, Erik Kratz, dude, that guy, he's my hitting coach? That guy sucked at hitting. Like, is there what's the difference in that feeling? Because I can attest to it, but we're asking you these questions. What's that feeling when you see that guy and you're like, golly, why is he our hitting coach?
Yeah, I think it's something you have to go in with an open mind. I mean, you think you really can't fully understand or know what somebody knows until you sit there and really talk to them and communicate with them and see actually what they do know and what they don't know. So I think that's kind of where I stand with that.
You're 28 or
20.
Oh, 20, right.
Yeah.
Sounds like a 28. Seriously, like,
Respect, yeah.
There's
Thank you.
something
Very
something different
humble, too.
there for you. So anyway,
Thank
It's
you.
almost like he's been around the game.
Stop. He's never been
knows
around
how
the
it
game.
works.
I want to know a
never
little
been
bit
around.
more about you. Did you play any other sports besides baseball growing up?
Yeah, my parents are real good at having me play all the sports when I was younger. I played soccer, basketball, football, obviously baseball. I played basketball to about the 8th grade. And actually, if you ask my mom, she'd probably say basketball is my best sport. But I was always, since I was this tall, I knew I wanted to be a baseball player. But and then I played football at about 6th grade. I was never really a big fan of football. I kind of played that just for my pops because he would always say I was acting like a girl if I didn't play. So when I was able to get out of football, I kind of just stuck with basketball and baseball. And
So your mom, you know why your mom said you were better at basketball, right?
why?
Because she saw all that your dad went through mentally grinding, and she's like, please, I cannot let my son go through baseball. Why? Let him be a basketball player at one time.
No, that's so true. I mean, especially, you guys know the grind with it. There's days where it's like, dang, mom, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And just having her and my dad as that support system has always been great for helping me.
Who do you call first? When you get called up in the next 2 years, when you get called up to the big leagues, who do you call first? Because it's going to matter. You can't call them both at the same time.
Yeah, I think mom first, just because she's, that's my rock. She's the one that whenever anything goes south, that's the one who I'm always going through. But I think right after that, dad's on the next phone call. So yeah,
He's going to Is he gonna be pissed?
Yeah,
Or is he gonna be like, okay, that's good?
I mean, no, he'll probably be like, okay, yeah, I expect, yeah, he gets that, he knows
He
it.
might cry, dude. I'll be crying.
What?
I have a couple Phillies questions for you. So first off, have you met that crew? Right, because they're full of superstars. Have you spent time with any of them?
Yeah, actually, this last off season, Bryson Stott took me in kind of under his wing, and
Nice.
I've been
Vegas
fortunate.
boys.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be able to go hit with him over the off season for about a month or so, and it was really, really cool. Just kind of just seeing the way he works, seeing the way he is, real good dude, and made it a lot easier for me just coming into this season.
Did he talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say because it just thought about Stott and the adjustments that he made between the 22 season and 23 season. Did he talk to you about that, or are you guys not getting that deep? You guys are just whacking in the cage.
Not really too much. I mean, we'll talk about different approaches and little things like stuff like that. But I mean, kind of just in the off season, we're kind of just going on the field, get a cage, and just kind of just swinging and chopping it up. Really.
Where do you hit it in Vegas?
Either at my old high school, Bishop Gorman, or this local
shocker.
batting cage. Yeah, or this local batting cage called Marucci, which has been really, really good for us.
You guys. Most people go and hit in the offseason, like Todd goes and hits in the offseason. He doesn't have to pick up his own baseball. You guys got so many people at Bishop Gorman.
Yeah.
You got to go shag.
Yeah.
Like you're out there. Oh, great. Group 3. Awesome. Can't wait till I get to double A. At least I'm in group 2. Because you got some dudes that have been coming out of there.
Yeah, man, really, really good school, and they do it right over there. And I was just thankful enough for them to be able to take me and his family and be able to get drafted from out of there.
What do the Phillies say to you about A, what you need to work on, and B, what they're tracking, right? Because it's not just the basics of what you see up on the screen when you go up to hit. You know, like every org's a little bit different, but you know, what do they say? Hey, this is what we're really looking at to evaluate you to keep moving on.
Yeah, kind of just the maturity of it, just kind of growing and just trying to consistently hit the ball a little harder and kind of just see more pitches and try to maybe draw more walks just to, because I feel like at times I could get a little aggressive and swing and chase a little bit. So kind of just being more patient in the batter's box and just finding that hitting the ball just a little bit more consistently harder. So, I mean, those have kind of been the two things that have been the main things for me going into this year that I've been trying to work on and get better at, and slowly but surely just chipping away at it.
See more pitches and hit the ball harder. So that means don't swing, but hit it really hard.
Yeah, swing at the ones in the zone. Swing at the ones in the zone and hit the ones in the zone hard, because the ones down here, up here, you can't really do too much damage with them.
But you're like, I just want to hit it.
Yeah, I get excited sometimes, but we're working.
Is that something that can be learned?
Natural.
You think that's something that can be learned? Like where
Yes and no.
like you're saying you're an aggressive hitter.
Mhm.
I haven't watched you play, obviously, but can that be learned? Can it be learned to like swing less but still do damage?
Yeah, I mean, I think it also just comes with experience. I mean, just from last year in A-ball to now in high A, just from amount of those at-bats I've had all the way up until this point, I've definitely noticed a difference with just getting used to the pitching. And as you grow, you start to really be able to take those pitches and kind of understand the strike zone a little bit more. So I think just as time goes on, it's something that we'll slowly grow and get better at.
Good examples, Bryson Stott.
Mm-hmm.
He had 640 plate appearances last year. Do you know how many? He had 39 walks this year, not even a third away through for him. 26 walks. His walk rate's up.
Just learning.
Significantly.
He's learning in the show
so far this
You're
year.
learning in Lakewood right now.
Yeah,
Jersey
exactly.
Shore right
Yeah.
All right, so last one was a promise from Adam Lind. Remember what he said to ask about?
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to do it?
We want to ask about his roommate, right?
Yeah.
We said give us something, something good, something
What'd you call
inside.
it, Big?
B.
Oh,
My
B.
own boy. Yeah. Yeah, that's my guy right there. He's really, really quiet and like to the point I think where everybody tries to figure out the way he is, like trying to get inside his brain. But no, I mean, boy's just boy. That's how I tell people. He's just somebody that's gonna stay in his zone, stay in his lane, and if you don't talk to him, he's not gonna talk to you really. But I mean, he's a good dude and he works really, really hard. And we got drafted together both in 2022, and we've kind of been roommates since then, just growing up with each other. So it's been pretty cool just seeing each other from when we first got drafted all the way up till now.
Because he's not on here. I'm gonna ask you because he's not here.
Yeah.
What kind of roommate are you? Because I can't bag on the guy. What kind of roommate are you?
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty good roommate. I mean, I think me and Boyd, we understand each other at this point now. I mean, if we need anything, we always go out to get groceries for one another, or just if somebody needs just anything, we kind of
What's
always looking out for each other.
What do 2 20-year-olds, because he was a high school kid too, right?
Yep.
What do 2 20-year-olds get groceries? What kind of groceries you get?
Groceries,
peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah, pretty much. Nothing much.
White bread or wheat bread?
Wheat.
Wow,
or sourdough. Sourdough is what I also
wow,
like,
you're
too.
bougie too.
Trying to gain some weight, man.
Oh, the calories?
That's really what I'm trying to do. But no, because none of us can really cook though. But yeah, we get a whole bunch of water in our fridge. That's what we got.
So you get water, PB&J, sourdough,
and some salami, and some whole bunch of old frozen pizzas.
Pop them in post game.
Carb up. Good thing is, if you need quiet time, you know you can get it.
Exactly.
It's not going to bother you. But my question is, how do you spark a combo? Right, so I'll give a big league example. I remember, I think it was Trevor Story's rookie year, and he was super quiet when we were going back and forth with him in interviews. And I asked one of his teammates, I'm like, "How do I get this guy to talk? He's not talking about himself much. Like, he was nice, he's just quiet, right?" And they're like, "Ask him about shoes." He'll go. I asked him about shoes, 5-minute answers.
Yeah,
holy crap.
So,
there's got to be something he's into.
You just got to talk about fishing. Honestly, he loves to fish, and I'm no bueno at fishing, but if you walk up to him and say, "B, I caught this," whatever, he'll gonna give you a nice lengthy answer.
Okay, good.
All right, last to finish.
Yeah.
Oh, you got. I want to talk about that.
No, that's it.
That's it.
So for me, this is my favorite, the Medusa hat that the Jersey Shore Blue Claws do. Kratz, you want to show it now, or will you show?
I'll show him. So we
Okay.
do a thing at the end of the segment, like
Okay.
Kratz hats, because I played for like 38 different teams.
Yeah.
So I have all these hats, but these, what's your favorite of all? I think, Greg, 7 hats?
7 or 8 different hats.
7 or 8 different hats, and I show them off at the end of the show. And we got these today. Which is your favorite?
I would have to go with the Medusas, honestly. I think we're wearing the jerseys today too, which those
Copa
are
Diversity.
Yep. So those are my favorite for sure. I mean, I love the color on it, and it's just something a little different.
I like that.
Yeah. I do like the red plain one too.
I do too.
Yeah,
and all white jerseys. You can never go wrong with all white home jerseys.
We got about 700 little leaguers coming tonight from my little league. So hit one out there for us. We'll try and
I'll sure try.
Yeah, exactly.
2-line drives.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the zone. Otherwise, he's getting 4 walks.
Take a walk. Tom's River, they won the Little League World Series. If you haven't heard about Todd Frazier, he won the Little League World Series before you were even.
He wasn't born.
Before your dad was even in the big league.
But he wasn't born yet.
They appreciate walks too.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like a Moneyball Little League.
Yeah.
They appreciate dingers and walks.
Okay.
Just do your
with that. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you
Thanks
guys.
for stopping by,
Thank you.
Justin. It was awesome having you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Justin Crawford with us, prospect in the Philly system, of course, here at the home of the Blue Claws. We'll see him tonight in the game. All right, so we actually have some members-only content on FT. I'll talk more about it in a sec so we can get Justin off his mic. Check out what we've got to show you from AJ and Kratz, what they've been working on, a little project, a little homework assignment.
And from then on, anytime somebody said Kratz, we could go take a Kratz. It's like, dang it. It just never, it hurt my soul, but it made me laugh too. So anytime you can get a fan to say something that makes you laugh when they were trying to get after you, I like that. I agree. Now, listen, the best one I ever saw didn't include me. It wasn't even trash talk. No one said a word. In 2005, and with the White Sox, we go to Oakland. Okay, Carl Everett's our DH/right fielder. He plays right field. He had just come out with an article that said he didn't believe in dinosaurs. He didn't believe we went to the moon. He didn't believe in this. He didn't believe in that. There was a giant sign in the outfield that said, "We don't believe in Carl Everett." And there was a guy dressed up as an astronaut. There was a guy dressed up as a dinosaur. It was like 7 people. Everything that Carl had said that he didn't believe in, they had a huge sign in Oakland that there was 50 people in the stands. So the sign took up like a whole section and said, "We don't believe in Carl Everett." And then they started throwing hot dogs at him. We had to stop the game because he had ketchup and mustard all over his back from where they were throwing hot dogs at him. I like that creativity.
There you go. A little back and forth.
Cornball.
Brzezinski and Kratz. You have no idea. So, okay, everything at FT that you watch, and listen to is free, except for this. This is membership, okay? This isn't FT. This little bonus content.
Let's go.
Little FT After Dark. So if you want to check it out, we've been getting requests for the last few months. We've been working hard on this. If you are a member on the FT YouTube channel, yes.
Scott doesn't like physical touch.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
I forgot.
No,
I'm
he
good
doesn't
with
like
it.
He
His
doesn't
pop's
like
here. I got to be careful. I get my ass whooped. I'm sorry.
He's tough. He's tough.
My bad.
If you want to check that out, some of you asking about it, you go to the YouTube channel homepage. Obviously, you're already subscribed. Then there's a button that says join. So if you want to check that out, that's where you get all those emojis in the chat, the whole deal. So, Kratz, anything else that we should be looking forward to with the back and forth that you and AJ had, sharing some inside stories?
I don't want to.
You don't want to give it away?
I don't want to give it away, but
really
let's
nice
put it
of
this
you.
way: it's good members only content.
Good.
Okay. There's rumors that Todd is going to throw a few stories into the mix at some point, too.
Nobody cares. We're trying to get more subscribers.
You'll get a lot more subscribers.
Just because you're talking?
Exactly.
Yeah. Just hearing his voice. So check that out, okay? I know you've been asking about it. You know who you are if you're listening to this and you were like, hey, when are we going to get those exclusive videos? There it is. Let's get to our picks.
I love the picks. I love seeing who's up.
BetMGM locks. The Lion had a night. We crushed it. Lucy came on the show.
Lucy.
She's aggressive with her
Lucy,
picks.
figure it out, lady.
She drops
Okay.
home run props on us.
Come on.
Matt Olson plus 340, so she's going
Come
for
on,
it.
Luce.
But we keep it a little safer. I kept it super safe. I was cold, so I was like, I need a nerfy knock, and I got one. It was minus 150.
Yeah, but the
with
people
the
appreciate
Diamondbacks
that.
and the Mets. I know you got it. A win's a win.
You can build a bank on minus 150. Don't get it twisted.
You're right. If you go over 50% or 55% on those, you can start to do some damage. But Zach Allen was lifted after 6 pitches. Wanted to throw that in there, so it got a little dicey. But they were
Jersey
okay.
boy.
You get a little worried. Hopefully Zach's okay.
It's a right hamstring too. Not to get away from what we're doing.
Yeah,
here,
we
but
can for a sec.
That's weird. A right hamstring on a right-handed pitcher. You know, normally you think you land and you extend through that left leg and pull
Maybe
the hammy.
Push off. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Especially early, you'd see maybe that late in the start, but never want to see that from him. The Diamondbacks need him.
Yeah,
They need everybody.
They do.
Dude.
They do.
All hands
They're
on
off to a mid start. So that hit your Pilar, Cole John hit,
Look at number 1 up there.
Brzezinski hit, and then Todd Father is absolutely on fire.
Only in 12 games too, gang. That's all.
The sample size is getting a little larger though. So
I mean,
Todd Father's in good
8-4
shape.
thing.
Pap's been pretty good too. Pap goes for it. Obviously he's 11-14, but he's up 9 hundos. Often he's doing parlays for plus money. So Pap, you're up first today.
What's up, Foul Territory Nation? My people of Foul Territories, Pap coming in with the Pap's Parlay pick of the day, baby. I'm in Boston, just got done with the Hall of Fame. I'm a little slow today, so I feel like my picks are going to be really good because I didn't think about them too much. And so today I'm taking the Braves in the run line and the Mariners in the money line. We have plus 2 something, I don't even know. And we laying down 200, and we're going to win just because there was zero thought processing this morning because we stayed up too late last night. So go get them, baby. Win us.
Hangover Pap, 200 to win 406. Braves run line, Mariners money line. He had a night. You knew he had a night because he talked about it while they were interviewing him for the Red Sox Hall of Fame.
I wouldn't archive a game other than to watch a game, but go in the archive to listen to the 2nd or 3rd inning, I'm not sure, of Pap on the broadcast. It is worth your probably 7 minutes of your time.
Mm.
It is epic, Pap, but I can't wait till he comes back on because I think he fake baked to get on there. I think he fake tanned I'll wait to ask him when he comes on. But anyway,
The complexion was
it wasn't like it's not that sunny in Boston.
Okay.
Let's pump the brakes.
yeah,
back.
but he's coming from Mississippi.
The wind burn.
He's coming from Mississippi.
He is. I know,
Mississippi.
but you
Hot
don't
as
need
hell.
to tan. You don't need to tan to go to Boston. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, Pap, you had a night, feel better. But yes, just to give you a little inside, we're texting some of us last night, and who was it? I think AJ texted me. He's like, "Are you watching Red Sox game?" I was like, "I'm not watching that particular game right now." He's like, you might want to turn it on and check out Pap. And I'm like,
It's worth
Pap's
it.
always entertaining. He's like, he's got a little something extra tonight. So, anyway, what do you got for us today?
Me, I'm straying away from what I usually do. I'm betting an under. I'm going Minnesota versus Houston under. Ronel Blanco, he's filthy. He's going to hold him to not that many runs. And then Pablo Lopez, he needs to pick it up here. And I think today starts his day of throwing really good baseball. So I'm going under 8, 330 to win 300.
How do you feel about unders when you watch them? Because
I like doing unders better than overs.
Really?
And usually people are the opposite.
Yeah.
I like betting against the stuff, like the points or the runs or whatever.
I know, but it's a tough watch for me. Like there's often times where I like it, and just for my entertainment purposes, I'm like, do I want to enjoy the next 3 hours, or do I want to be like, it's 2 on, and I'm like, ooh.
It's like bad breath. You know, you smell it and taste it, but you want to make sure it's there too as well. So it's like you keep going back.
You just keep going. Has it gone? Has it gone away?
That's actually a good way to put it.
It's fine.
Taking an under's like, putting up with bad breath, but if you can get through it,
yeah, it's fine.
It might be profitable. What do you got?
Maybe you don't even watch the game if you take the under. You don't watch.
I've done that.
Yeah, that's it. And then you scroll and put your thumb across. You're like 4. You're like, all right, 3 or less, and boom.
It's stressful. Kratz, you're up.
I'm going Jose Barrios. Barrios for the over on 5.5 Ks. He's hit it 3 of the last 6 starts.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone up against a Pirates team that is kind of going through it. The last start, the last game, they struck out 12 or 13. They're in the top, I think, 6 in strikeouts in the league right now, where last year they were
weirdly
last. Yeah, last year
really?
they rarely struck out. I always was staying away from the Pirates because they weren't striking out. This year they're striking out a lot more. I think they're going to have a lot of struggles with Barrios running that slider off the plate and running that sinker in, mixing that changeup in too.
Okay.
I'll tell that. I'll go parlay today. I like the Cardinals-Phillies game. It was at 8, so I'm buying it down to go over 6 runs total between the two. Michaelis, Phillies against righties right now. Whew. It's good luck. And the Cardinals' offense has actually picked it up. I mean, they've been on a heater. We talked about them a lot in yesterday's show if you want to track that back. So just a casual 6. And I use that to also get the Dodgers money line because really the even money is at 2.5. I'm not taking the Dodgers by 3. It's too much. But Buehler against Dakota Hudson, Dodgers rock. So I pair those together, throw down 125 to win a hundo.
All right.
There's your locks. And it's the Weekend Slam Jackpot promotion. We'll give you our home run picks coming up next. But place $10 or more on a wager of a player to hit a home run on a weekend day. That includes Friday. So Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And if that player hits if it hits a home run, you win, obviously. If it's a grand slam, you add to that win. You can win the $50,000 daily prize or a share of that prize with every other winning bettor. So who's hitting a dinger and maybe a grand slam?
Well, I already picked mine this week. It was yesterday, Crawford. So I win the money.
Oh, the minor league.
Yeah.
Grand
that's
slam
not a
winner.
thing.
Oh, okay.
You get 50 pesos to bet.
I'll take it.
Yes.
I'm going tomorrow, Juan Soto. Let him get comfortable back there in San Fran. He's going to go opposite field. He's going to hit a granny. Let's go. So there's no.
You're not going after Jordan Hicks tonight, basically,
I'm not.
right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because that's who the Yanks are facing tonight.
I don't care who Juan Soto plays against, but I'm going to give him a day to get accustomed to San Fran, even though he's been there for a while.
Big ballpark.
That's fine.
Played against.
And so there's no odds on him yet, but we'll look at him tomorrow.
Yeah. He's facing Logan Webb tomorrow.
Whoopsies. Go ahead.
Perfect. I think he's given up 1 homer all year.
Yeah.
Nice call.
Well, yeah, but so what do you think that's going to look like? Plus,
Probably like 450.
4 in the 4s or 5s?
Yeah. No. It'll be under 4. It'll be under 4.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Because I guess you
Soto's
get to the
got
bullpen
15.
eventually. Bless you. How many home runs has Logan Webb given up? You. Same amount of sneezes that Todd just pulled off.
Yeah, 2.
Woo.
Right?
2.
Yeah, he's giving
Took
up
my
2.
earpiece off.
I love that.
Actually, I like it too. All
That
right.
was violent. I'm going with AA Ron Judge.
Oh, hey, Ron.
Because this guy stands. I'm not saying the Yankees need him. I'm saying he understands. The pool reporters are coming to him saying, hey, this is, you're this away. And he is so clutch in big moments in that sense. I think he's going to hit a dinger here. And Jordan Hicks cannot elevate the ball enough to him consistently. And I think he's going to leave a sinker, and it's going to be ding dong, pitch is dead.
There's history here too.
Nasty.
So first of all, he's from Fresno.
Yep.
I don't totally know the
Went to
geography.
Fresno. He's outside of there, but Fresno's Sacramento-ish
Right.
to San Fran.
He owes the Giants at least a hug and a high five because they helped
doesn't owe
him
him anything.
bring his price tag up. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When the fake news.
Arson did not sign with the Giants, so they get to see what he looks like in his usual pinstripes.
And he'll be in Sacramento next year because Fisher already has said that
Right.
can't wait for Aaron Judge
True.
to come in and hit dingers against his own team.
You don't have to look back at it. I'll paraphrase for you, but the owner of the A's essentially said he was ecstatic about the fact that Aaron Judge is going to crush his team in Sacramento last year.
He literally
Or next
said
year.
he can't wait to see him hit home runs in Sacramento.
Tell me if you've heard an
Awkward.
owner say, "Can't wait for our team to get smacked by another player." I've another team on another team. I don't think I've ever heard that in my
John
life.
Middleton wouldn't let anybody on his team say, "Man, we can't wait for Ronald Acuna to come to Philadelphia."
Never.
You talk about getting cut for saying something. Fisher should have gotten cut for saying that.
Fresno's 3.5 hours from San Francisco. They have their own team, but it also is a minor league team.
It is.
Fresno, right?
It is. AAA.
AAA.
Was the Astros. I'm not sure if it's still the Astros or not.
I'll go.
They're in Sugarland now.
Does this feel steep? Ryan Mountcastle plus 750.
I love it.
Game 2 for the O's because they got a double dipper against the Rays. Aaron Savali. We got some research from our staff behind the scenes
Savali's going
that told
2?
me he's in game 2. He's at the 7:00 Eastern game. And Mountcastle's 5 for 6 with 2 homers against him.
I mean, 7 plus 750?
Yeah.
Good.
Google it.
I'm not Googling it. I'm putting on the BetMGM app.
Yeah.
Plus
Do it.
750,
Good
I
one.
need that.
Just do it.
I need.
Go ahead,
good one.
Scott. I love it.
All right, so check those out. Good luck on your picks tonight. Let's slap. One minute of quick notes. Alek Manoah going for a second opinion on his right elbow. We talked about him yesterday. Scott Mitchell from TSN said expectation at this point, likely going to miss an extended period of time, reiterating that sucks. It's taken a while for him to get back. Showed some good signs, so we hope he's okay. Lars Nootbaar to the IL, oblique strain.
Those are the worst.
It's Friday. We got to give you some good news. Steven Kwan is back. He was one of the best hitters in the first month of the season. He leaves. He probably feels like crap because he's like, did you guys even miss me?
Yeah.
You're playing better without me, and I was amazing.
You got to rush. You got to rush back if your team's playing bad, and you got to rush back if your team's playing really good without you.
exactly.
Well, I can't let David Fry take my spot.
I want a piece.
Yeah, I want to eat. Like Jose Ramirez is driving in 32 runs for the month of May, and he's like David Fry's Player of the Week, and he's like, guys, I can remember. Do you remember me?
Yeah, exactly.
Steven from the Kwan family.
Yeah, I was
Hello?
your best hitter
I was
for
hitting
a few weeks.
370.
Yeah, so he's back. Good luck. They are rocking the AL Central right now. Now we're ready. Kratz hats.
I'm so excited that I get to do this. Like, I hope every minor league team ups their game because right now, Jersey Shore's doing it. I mean, are you serious with this hat? Like, you could probably put sunglasses on a hat and it wouldn't even look this good.
Mhm.
Like, it's awesome. I'm hoping the Foul Territory merch steps it up and looks like this. I hope we get sunglasses
touch
on
that.
all of our.
They got
No.
the Ferris wheel. They got the roller coasters in between. That's pretty neat.
There's a JS here that you can like. If you have an opportunity, go online and check out their hat collection because they got the Copa Diversiones. I hear they have 7 different caps, and
Medusas.
I'm schmoozing with Greg, our GM here. I'm hoping I can get all 7.
Yeah.
You'll see the rest. I'm gonna wear the Medusa one
I'll go
later
backwards.
on.
Hit up their website if you want one of those. But yeah, I'm in favor of the shades, especially because of the reflection. You got the ride to
Very
the
nice.
reflection.
It's very nice.
It's
boardwalk.
This is a city. This is a city connect. City connect to the Jersey Shore. Seriously,
It's beautiful. So thanks everyone for, and I know everyone likes this, for watching some FT on the road today. We're on the road in Vegas next week.
Ooh-wee.
By the way, if you want a little FT gear, foulterritoryshop.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the pod page. Rate and review, which actually I put recently. If you rate and review and write a guest request, we'll work extra hard on that one for you to try and get the player that you request. But thanks again to the Jersey Shore Blue Claws for hosting us. We'll be at the game later. A lot of pressure on Todd Frazier and Kratz to pull off the world's
him in the
best
right
first
hand.
pitch. And if you want to stop by, they might chuck a few gloves into the seats. I don't know.
I'll chuck Todd's glove. Can I put in a request
Chuck
on
Todd.
the on the
For a player?
on the chat to have Todd not on again?
Yeah,
is that-
tomorrow. He's off tomorrow.
Oh, right.
So are we.
Keep it up.
See you Monday.